let you know where we stand on the social engineering competition. I'll read out the top five competitors. So actually, there's a tie for fifth place with Florida State and the Coast Guard. In fourth place is Radford University. In a tie for second place, Syracuse and West Point. And in first place is University of Central Florida. I'm going to have Todd Doran from Veracode give the Veracode scores.
Okay, so for secure coding, in third place is University of New Hampshire, second place Rensselaer Polytech, and first place University of Central Florida.
And in the Capture the Flag competition, we have one team that actually captured them all last night. So University of Tulsa took it. We've got NYU and RPI that are sitting just one problem back. And then we've got a bunch then behind that are one or two problems back. So it's been good. It's been good.
Good, thank you. What we'll do as well.
I think in terms of Tulsa and the other teams that are at the top, I think a lot of it's just practice. Yeah, and if so, we had a set of network forensics problems this time that required running a network simulator, running Wireshark, and I think most of the students I spoke to out there hadn't seen anything quite like that before. You know, PCAPs and things like that, but not a live network. So I think this time was also very much sort of tilted toward teams that had a broad set of skills. We had flags that required coding. We had flags that required traditional steganography and identification. We had flags that were traditional cryptography. We had an Enigma problem that needed to be cracked. And then we had the network forensics. So to cover essentially those four pillars on a team of 4 people. But by the same token, when you look at the teams at the top, I think they were the same sets of teams that were toward the top last year as well. So, but yeah, no, it's the bunch of those teams out there. They just went at it with a chainsaw, and it's cool to watch. It's cool to watch, and it's every once in a while, you know, they come up to the edge, and you can see the vibration get worse and worse and worse, and then bang, they fall through it and get it.
So the teams who are part of the secure coding competition, what we did was we gave them an application that was chock full of security flaws, and it was a real world situation where they had to follow a policy. Some of these flaws are a lot more severe and therefore were worth a lot more points. Something like a SQL injection, or where you would have access to the actual operating system if you were able to crack through. Others, not so much. And what they did was then we were able to run that through a Veracode scan, show them where the flaws are, but then it's up to the teams to be able to figure out, well, how am I going to properly code this to secure this? And it's been a great experience watching the teams. Some of them will divide and conquer. They'll all go off to their separate little corners. Others will kind of collaborate, and you hear them going back and forth. And so they're going through the problems. The top scorer, University of Central Florida, they're at a 78.9. A perfect score is 100. So they were very much looking forward to getting their intermediate score, which we gave them last night at 10 o'clock. And they said, are you going to be able to give us the score right away? And I said, well, yeah, we'll run it through the scan. We'll give it to you right away. Because as far as I could tell, some of them were going to work all night. And I'm going to go check on the teams right after this.
Where did they start from?
They started right in the low 50s was their score. All right, so I was pleased that it's not like somebody fixed all the flaws and they're all done yet. Some of them still have a way to go.
And I'll just say a few words on the social engineering competition. So what we've done with this competition is really give the students an opportunity to try develop their non-technical skills. And so we've actually set up a fake call center in our lab. And part of what they have to do is students have to call in and convince the call center that they need a IP address, or they need a password, or something like that. And so developing techniques to convince that those people, and that means they have to go check Facebook accounts and LinkedIn pages, Google pages and we've actually set up real live LinkedIn pages and Facebook accounts with information that's sprinkled in there that can help them convince the call center that they are who they say they are. So some of them are trying to figure out how to actually to do that. So they've been taking some time to turn on their non-technical skills to get past that. But they're making progress, so which is good. So one notice. University every once in a while does a test of their emergency alert system, and unfortunately today is that day. So you'll be hearing around 12:25 during lunch, there'll be sirens that are going off, really loud sirens. So don't be alarmed. It's just a test of the system. It'll be only for a couple minutes, so we don't have to leave the building. So okay. So all right.
Play the video.
We have a short message from Senator Chris Murphy, who's the junior senator from the state of Connecticut. So just play that.
Hi, it's Chris Murphy, United States Senator from Connecticut. I want to say thank you to all the organizers of CyberSEED 2016. I'm really looking forward to hearing about the output, the results from this really important conference. I want to specifically thank my friends at the Connecticut Cybersecurity Center at UConn for putting this together. You really are meeting at an absolutely critical time. Last year, as you know, the President signed the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act. And you know, as a piece of legislation, it's not perfect, but it's a really important first step in allowing the sharing of internet traffic and cyber threat information between the United States government and the tech and manufacturing community. But all you have to do is open up the newspaper to understand the threats that we are facing today. News that Russian hackers have already stolen voter lists, threatening to try to disrupt the 2016 elections, regular attempts by the Russian government and other state-sponsored actors to try to get their hands on very sensitive government information. One of the most critical threats we face as a nation is cyber attack. And we need to be working in a collaborative way, as you're doing in this conference, to try to find methods where the private sector and the public sector can, with comfort, work together to try to identify these threats and to try to adapt. So I'm really looking forward to hearing about the work that you do, hearing about some recommendations that you can make to us as to how we can supplement that legislation that the President signed last year. There's a few more important debates right now. As you simply pick up the paper on a daily basis, you understand how important putting up solid defenses against cyber attack are for our country. As a member of the Appropriations Committee, I'm going to do everything I can to fund the kind of work that you're talking about. As a member of the Foreign Relations Committee, I'm receiving information every day on the potential for devastating attack if we don't invest in the projects that you're undertaking. Thanks a lot to all my friends for putting on this conference. I look forward to being in touch.